All right, good morning, everybody. Terry Daniel here on a lovely and steamy Saturday morning in Minneapolis. I hope you're doing well from wherever you're tuning in today. We are going to do another fabulous script class. This is a fun script that I've kind of pulled out of the archives. I believe we worked on it in a group class maybe a few years back, but it's an oldie but goodie, and it's a fun one. Better than working on a medical read, right? Or some type of corporate e-learning copy. But yeah, 1 second. We'll get started here. All right, so here's how this works. I'm going to, go over the direction of how I think the script should be read. We'll take some volunteers to read, and we'll kind of go from there. Again, this class is being recorded, so if for whatever reason you have to leave the class early, you can always see the entire recording when I upload it into the YouTube channel on Monday. All right, so we've got some new people on the on our Universal Voice Talent Coaching roster, and I'd like to welcome some of you who have never maybe sat in on a script class before. But just a little insight of kind of the voiceover business in general. There's really two ways that we all make a living doing voiceovers. One way is by working with as an independent contractor, working directly with producers, business owners, maybe corporate, audiovisual departments and corporations, clients direct with no agency commission taken out of the fee. We don't, no agent being involved. This is basically you working with the client. That's most of the work that I do from home here is like that. On the other side of the coin, we've got the agency side of the voiceover business. And whether it's union or non-union, this is where the agent pretty much does everything and you're the performer. You show up, you do the gig, you listen to direction, you read it the way they want it to be read, and then you go home and get paid, net 30 days minus the 10% commission. The beauty of it, the fee is usually pretty damn good, and you don't have to do any of the editing. None of the editing, none of the post-production at all. You don't have to negotiate the rate for the spot. That's the beauty of doing an agency gig. I had a couple of them earlier in the week, one for Wellington Windows locally, and then I did another one for a law firm. And I basically just showed up and was the performer. I didn't have to worry about the business end of it. That's what the agent is for. So that's what's kind of nice about voiceovers, because if there's also a chance that you could succeed in one or the other. There are people that do really well with the agency stuff, but they couldn't market themselves to save their lives. And there's a lot of other people like myself who are really more of an independent contractor, and most of the work they get is by working with clients direct. And if they had to make a living just on agency work alone, it would be very, very tough. But if you can do a little mix of both, then you're sitting really pretty, because you're getting income coming in from your independent contracts, and then you're getting income in from maybe the 2 to 4 gigs a month that you're getting from the agency. So two paths, two income streams, all from sitting from the comfort of your own home and talking into a microphone, right? All right. So enough of that. Let's talk about the Office Depot commercial. So this is kind of what I'm looking for here. You're thinking out loud as you're writing a resignation letter to your boss at a company that you worked for 50 years. And you just couldn't wait to get this stuff off your mind. This is something that's been kind of swelling up inside you for years and years, and the tension's kind of building. But I do want you to keep it conversational, witty, understated, and reflective, not necessarily sad, because you can't wait to get the hell out of this job, right? A hint of playfulness, but again, this stuff is kind of built up over the years. Overall, kind of a relaxed, understated read that kind of leaves us with a sense that it's your last day at work. And it's a great day because it's your last day. And then a touch of sarcasm at the end. As you can see there, the plastic plant, reply all by accident. Oh my God, how many times have we had to deal with that when we've had our job? So there's a couple of different ways to really approach this. And, I know in my general direction, I'm putting overall should be a relaxed, understated read. But, if you really want to try to get creative, maybe toward the end too, it can start to sound a little more like you're slowly losing it or something. I mean, that could be another way, or a different kind of character that would probably work for this script. If you're in a job like this, my apologies. If you been in a job like this in the past, I mean, this is all very relatable. I could not wait to quit my radio gig. And I had been doing that for about 5 years only, not 50 years, but I couldn't wait. I knew when I had enough voiceover clients lined up, which happened, probably about 10 or 11 years ago now at this point. I think maybe a little bit longer even. I couldn't wait to write that resignation letter to my boss. I respected my boss. He's actually a good friend of mine now. But the corporation itself, which was called Clear Channel back then, I pretty much despised. And I couldn't wait to get the best of him and write my resignation letter. So it was, it wasn't quite as animated as something like this. But so this is one that you can really have fun with. And here's what I'll do. I'm going to give you my version of the read just for reference. Now, for those of you that are volunteering, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to mimic my read verbatim. You can definitely put your own twist into this. And again, this is one of those scripts where the client may allow you creative liberty because it's not one way or the highway as far as this being read. Now, you've got the word goodbye on every single line, which is always going to be a little challenging whenever there's any kind of repetition or a laundry list in a script. We have to make each line kind of its own. You can't be doing stuff like, goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Can anybody tell me actually in the little question box there what was wrong with that read? I'm going to quiz you before we even start. What was wrong with that delivery? Go ahead, anybody. Just punch something in. Yep. Paige says monotone. Kevin, flat. Absolutely. Richard, no variation, no emotion, flat. So you're all just dead on, and that's exactly right. Now, I'm going to get into character. And I'll end up reading the whole thing, but I want to get into character now and read you the first maybe 4 or 5 lines just to give you an idea. And it's almost like you can pretend like you're kind of typing as you're talking out loud, like you're typing this on your office computer for the very last time. This is the last thing you're going to use your office computer for, is to write basically this resignation letter. And I would just go something like, goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Notice how I'm almost getting into meltdown mode a little bit toward the end. And think about the photocopier paper jam line. Say that line as if this has happened to you about 100 times a week in this office. You are just sick as hell of that happening. So there's going to be a little anger and frustration in that line. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Bert, or whoever's name. Sorry, the Rick line is on the... Actually, I think I can I shorten that line a little bit? Hang on a minute. I'm going to minimize the screen just a little bit so I can get all those lines on one. Oh, that's not going to work for me, I guess. All right, well, we'll just have to scroll down. So Rick, or whatever name you want to use there, is perfectly fine. All right, so you've got a little bit of an idea on kind of what I'm looking for. And did you notice those first 5 lines, how different they were? Even, yes, my pretend read at the beginning was very monotone, but even if there is a lot of character and a lot of color into the read, you still want to make sure every line is almost, this is almost like multiple personality. Every line is just so different. Like a different voice talent could almost do every line. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, you're gonna say goodbye, Mark. Maybe Mark's been a really good friend of yours working at this corporation, and maybe you are kind of sad about saying goodbye to Mark. Maybe Janice, the same thing, somebody who's really been helpful, and you're a little more friendly. And then maybe a little bit of frustration kind of presents itself when you're talking about goodbye office politics, because you're sick of all the gossip, you're tired of the meetings and all that kind of bullshit that happens in corporations. How many of you have a corporate job where you can see yourself writing a letter like this on your last day? Anybody? Does anybody have a corporate job where you have to go to a mandatory meeting where basically during the meeting you're talking about another mandatory meeting that's coming up on the calendar? Yeah, it sounds like, well, Steve, maybe not quite as many, but I'll enjoy writing that email. I think we've all been there, right? I mean, when even you would think radio, right? Working for Clear Channel, I was on air and then I was on the sales side as well. You think that would have been a little more fun, but my God, the entire office was run like an insurance business. It was like, oh, 2 meetings a week, and I won't bore you with the details, but all right. So now it's your turn to perform. Yes. So if you want to volunteer to read right now, just go ahead and raise the virtual hand in the GoToWebinar widget. Again, this is nothing that's mandatory, but I'm going to go over to Peter Ponce here for my first performer. 1 second, Peter. And usually it takes kind of a minute for the mic to unmute. Peter, I think we have you.
Hi, Terry. Are you there?
I am. How are you, Peter
Hi.
Ponce?
I'm doing great.
It looks like you signed in as PDR Ponce.
Yeah, I think I made a typo when I registered, so
Well, we won't.
So just think that could be my nickname, like Meteor. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. I was just thinking maybe it could be PDRVoiceovers.com.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Well, you've got an idea of kind of what I'm looking for here. Do you have any
Uh-huh.
questions about this?
No, I've actually looked at this one and just rehearsed it myself, recording myself before. So
It's a fun
this will
one.
be interesting. Yeah.
Again, don't be afraid to, show us a little level of frustration toward the end, because you're basically typing out all the stuff that's bothered you over the years. How many times have all of us hit the reply all by accident button, or somebody in your company is? So really just bring it to life and let's see what happens.
Okay. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Nice. Good job on the last line. Let's go ahead and do it again.
Okay.
I want you to really get into character now, and just even if you don't have a keyboard in front of you, I want you to pretend like you're writing a letter.
Okay.
Literally extend your hands and pretend like you're typing a letter. So you're kind of like, goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. You son of a, maybe that's the line where you can really start to get angry on,
Okay. All right.
and just a little more like that. I thought you really came into your own when you did the last line, the Rick line, because it sounded like you were just like so sick of this guy that you couldn't wait to get the hell out of the office so you never had to see him again.
Okay. All right. Let's try again.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a second take.
Okay. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
And then he leaves the company. All right, good job, Peter. I'm going to mute your mic up, and then we're going to take another volunteer here. All right, we've got one of my new voiceover mentorees, Paige. Paige, you're going to have to pronounce your last name for me. I thought it was a different last name, but I might be wrong. Paige, good morning.
Hello. I got married 2 years ago and haven't changed my name. So you'll see Warner and Pucell from time to time.
Oh, got it. Well, good morning, and thank you for being a part of our team.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're very brave coming into the Lion's Den and reading on your very first script class.
I don't know what made me raise my hand, but here we are.
You know, there's no way better to learn than to just dive in.
Exactly. That's what I told myself.
Yep. So we're glad to have you here. You've got a little idea what I'm looking for. This is do you have any questions about kind of the read or the character that I'm kind of looking at? And, you know, he or she is definitely a little all over the place.
Yeah, I don't think I have any questions. I'll just give it a go.
All right, give it a go. And then again, really toward the end, I want to hear just, you know, not like you're having a nervous breakdown, but I want to hear, you know, that there's a sign that there could be a meltdown in our future.
Okay.
Just give it that spin.
Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant, or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Okay, good. You know what was great about your first two lines? I think they were my favorite, and here's why. There was something about even though it's only two words, there was something about the Janice line where it felt to me like there was more to that story.
Yeah, what I kind of pictured was Janice is what makes me say office politics.
Yes, like you're just
So,
like you're saying goodbye to somebody. To me, and maybe this is a stretch, it feels like somebody who you maybe got along with for the first couple of years that you worked there, but then the last 4 years, you basically wanted to drop kicker to the moon.
yeah.
Goodbye, Janice.
I
I'm
realize I switched those other two lines
not
too.
gonna take any more of your bullshit. So that was good. Let's do another one, and then maybe just a little. I know that the line, and I think Peter might have had a little trouble with it too. And it is a weird line. The have you tried turning it off and on?
Oh yeah.
That could mean anything from the computer to the printer to just and basically in that line. And I should have explained it a little bit more in detail earlier. But that's basically kind of a shot at your that's what your boss or maybe somebody from the IT department tells you every time there's some computer glitch.
Hmm.
You know, how many times have you had
Yeah.
some idiot, you know, either on Facebook or, you know, give you advice like, well, hey, have you tried rebooting your computer?
Yeah.
You know, when
A lot.
obviously the problem is much deeper than that. I've had a computer for 30 years. I know it's not just a thing where I have to reboot my computer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you can have in mind on that line, where you're just kind of frustrated with whoever the IT person is telling you this every time there's a computer problem, and they're basically just too lazy to come up to your department to take a look at your computer.
Yeah. Okay.
So keep that in mind, and let's go ahead with another read.
Okay. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Okay, nice work, Paige. I'm going to mute your mic so we don't have any feedback or anything. Good. Yeah, there's something about the way I think everybody in the class would agree. Those first couple lines, especially the Janice line, very, very believable. So thank you for that. All right, a lot of volunteers. So while we're not going to get to everybody today, I do want to get to a few people. I want to get to Raymond here. Raymond Clark. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning there. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Welcome,
Excellent.
welcome to the program.
It's good to be here.
I don't know why I said that. Sometimes I feel like I'm hosting a radio show. Let's go to caller number 4. Raymond, what do you got?
All righty, I think I'm ready to go.
All right, cool. Any questions about the script or anything that maybe we haven't touched on that we can provide some insight on?
No, I think you did pretty well here, and the previous readers also did quite
Okay,
well.
great,
Some
great. Well, go
direction.
ahead. And just remember,
So,
every line Every line is pretty much its own story.
Got it.
Anytime.
Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Ho hum. Goodbye, paper jam. Goodbye, photocopy paper jams. Goodbye. Well, have you tried turning it on and off again? Goodbye. Or reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real?
Good.
Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Awesome. Now I want everybody here. Did everybody hear what Raymond did on the turning it off and online? He actually used a different voice, which I thought was an interesting and very good touch, because it's almost like you're mimicking this person, because this person has given you the same advice now for 20 years when your computer has gone down. So I love that touch, Raymond, how you just kind of changed your voice and you're almost like making fun of the guy, you know? So let's do another. This time I want you to just roll through the list maybe a little quicker.
Okay.
You know, you're typing this really fast. Like imagine this is your last day. You can't wait to get the hell out of the office. So you're kind of like, goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Just roll through it a little quicker.
Okay, very well.
With a little more of that exclamation point, like you just can't wait to get the hell out of there.
Okay, here goes. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Goodbye. Haven't you heard doing it off and on again? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Nice work. Hang on, Raymond. I'm going to mute your mic. Awesome. Very cool. Jeff, I'm coming to you, man. I'm coming to Jeff Devitt. Hang on a second here. Sometimes the mics don't unmute. Jeff Devitt, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Oh my God. Gee, you're not on the West Coast, are you?
Oh, no, I'm not on the West Coast at all, and I'm still not freaking tired.
You sound more, you know what? You sound more awake than you usually do at 8 in the morning.
You know what? You're probably right on that. You're probably very right on that.
Well, this is good. So I haven't heard your personal reads on this yet, so that's why I unmuted your mic. I can't wait to hear what you can do live here. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that we're missing, or do you have a pretty good idea of kind of what we're looking for here?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been kind of practicing in my mind of what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do some change-ups that are pretty good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the class, you know, I'm playing the role of a client here, but I'm playing the role of a client who's going to allow the talent to have a little bit of creative liberty. So different reads, you know, and for those of you new to the business, it's always one way or the other. You're either going to get a client who really wants you to stick to the script and the direction, and they have one idea in mind, and that's what they want, and they don't want to hear anything else. You know, it works with the same if you're a TV actor or you're a movie actor. Sometimes they just want you to go, you know, verbatim with the script. Other times they just let you go loose, you know. But this is a fun enough script where I think creative liberty is going to make it a better performance. So let's see what Jeff Devitt can do.
All right. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, and we know you're sleeping with the boss, Janice. And goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings about meetings about meetings. And goodbye, photo paper copier jam. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant, or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
So, Jeff, you're the first one that I believe is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Nice ad lib. And now I want everybody to take note of what Jeff did there. There was some improv there, and a lot of times the client will allow some ad lib. Not all the time. In fact, agency gigs can be a little. They can be a little more stickler on sticking to the copy. But again, if it's something more character or animated related, sometimes they'll let you go off the cuff and just add your own verbiage, and sometimes they'll even use your ad lib in the copy. That has happened to me many times where I'll make up some goofy line and then they end up keeping it in the script. That always it's a good way to stroke the ego a little bit when they when they actually end up using your line. It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And let's go ahead and let's do one more read, Jeff.
Okay.
And since you're in character mode, this time I want you to try to be kind of like the what was his name? Melvin from the movie about the Office. Office. What was it? Shit. What's it called again? I keep thinking the show The Office, but somebody help me out. What was the movie? Office. Office Space.
There we go.
Try to. You don't have to do an impression of him, but maybe get a little nerdy on this. I just want to see what you can do with it.
Okay. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, and we know you're sleeping with the boss, Janice. And goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings about meetings without anything to eat. Goodbye, photo paper copier jams. Goodbye, have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all by accident. Goodbye, plastic plant, or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Nice word. Oh, great, Jeff. And I'll make sure you get another copy of that memo. How many times have you guys seen Office Space? Oh my God, it's a classic. It's like one of my it's one of my go-to movies if I want to just like turn it on when I want to take a nap and not worry about missing anything. I have some other favorites too. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Die Hard. Those the ones that are all over cable 100 times a week. Fletch, Office Space is definitely one of them. But all right, nice job. We got some really good volunteer readers today. I want to get Laura in here. Would love to have another female talent read. Laura, hang on a second. Laura, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. And I am on the West Coast. So
So, yeah, you are definitely 2 hours behind it. Can you do me a favor and pronounce your last name for me?
it's Quimbao, like on a whim, and then you're bowing.
Right, Quimbao. I always screw that up.
Yeah, I'm also a newly married woman. So, but my maiden name was not any easier. So,
Oh, right on, right on. So, well, thank you for participating here. Do you have any questions about kind of what I'm looking for here?
no, I could do a read through and then you can give me a fun challenge if you want or whatever.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I want you to, I'm trying to think of something. Well, you know what? I want you to do your version, and then I might have a couple of different ideas, kind of like with Jeff when he read it once, and then I decided to go nerd more on him. Let's see what you can do first, and then it might give me an idea of what else could work.
All right. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier jam. Ugh. Goodbye. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on? Goodbye, reply all. By accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Boy, you made Rick sound like a real dumbass, which he probably
Yeah,
is. We're going to pretend that he is, because that was a nice touch at the end, and nice job with the voices. That's something that I kind of had in mind at the beginning. I'm like, just pretend like you're mimicking somebody from the IT department that you're sick of, and you did a really good job in doing that. Now, I don't really have any. I loved everything you did with it, but kind of like what Jeff did. If you want to try to do some ad lib, feel free to kind of make up some verbiage if you feel like it, and if you're feeling creative.
Okay. Let me think real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you know
'Cause
what?
that was
If anybody's ever taken an improv class, there's no such thing as a bad line. Not every line's going to come off funny or inventive. I mean, it's improv, so it's impossible to constantly be on your game in every line. But if something's there kind of on the tip of your tongue and you're wondering, "Oh, I wonder if I should say that." Just go ahead and freaking say it.
okay. All right. Goodbye. Always got a remark, Mark. Goodbye, joking Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings about meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier jam. I swear you are the reason why I've got therapy. Goodbye. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on? None. Goodbye, reply all. By accident. Ugh. Goodbye, plastic plant. Are you real? Oh. Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans. Rick.
Awesome, Laura. Really nice job. Everybody's done a great job with this because you know what? This is not when you first glance at this script, you're probably like, okay, this is easy. The first, two sentences have 2 words in it. The word count kind of fools us into believing that this is a really easy script to perform. But I think you can all admit that it really isn't because it's, you got to be a little crazy, in order, you got to bring that character to life who's maybe just a little on the edge or a little out there. So really nice job. I'm going to bring in one more reader here, and then as we do in every group class, I like to allocate the last 10 minutes or so for any type of voiceover related questions, whether it's on script analysis and delivery or really anything else. Kind of a free for all for the last 10 minutes. People really seem to really enjoy that, so I want to kind of keep that consistent. But I want to go to Mr. Steve McGrath. Hang on, Steve. I'm coming for you. Steve, good morning.
Good morning this morning in the morning.
Oh, he's got the announcer. Steve, now, I mentioned something to you yesterday that I always thought you could do a really good Shaggy from Scooby-Doo impression. Can you give us a little Shaggy to warm things up before we do your script?
Oh, like you bet, Terry. I'd be happy to. It's the best Shaggy ever.
Uh, for everybody in the class, Steve was doing some reads for me over the Facebook Messenger. I'm like, I'm sitting here with one eyebrow up going, who the hell does he sound like? And then it hit me. I'm like, oh my God, he's Steve McGrath. You are Shaggy.
Yeah.
You
Made
weren't
me
maybe
real popular at my son's Cub Scout camps. Thanks.
it wasn't like you were super animated like Shaggy, like you were just now, but I'm like, I bet this guy can do a Shaggy, and you did not disappoint.
I get something right.
In fact, I think you should do a reading in church as Shaggy.
I thought you were going to say that. Well, let's see.
All right.
I am lecturing next weekend. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So you've got a little bit of an advantage here, and by way that there are so many people that have read before you. But do you have it? Is there anything that we haven't touched on as far as the delivery here?
No. Other than, Jeff kind of went down the path that I would typically go, but so I'm hoping to maybe change it up a little bit, do something a little different, but we'll give it a swirl and see how it goes.
Yeah, go for it. Anytime you're ready.
All right. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Don't let the door hit you. Goodbye. Have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all. By accident. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
All right, awesome job. So give me somebody else now. I want you to be a guy that's kind of like a little more Milton-ish from Office Space. And maybe you're even getting kind of weepy in the first few lines because maybe, the first couple lines are really sincere and you're really super sad about it.
Sure. Okay.
Just for something different,
Yeah. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Janice. I miss you. Goodbye, office politics. Goodbye, meetings about meetings. Dumb. Goodbye, photocopier paper jam. Looking at you. Goodbye. Have you tried turning it off and on? Goodbye, reply all. It was by accident. I told y'all already. Goodbye, plastic plant. Or are you real? Goodbye, hearing about your totally sick weekend plans, Rick.
Nice touch at the end. Yeah, that was nice. Super animated. Thank you, Steve. All right, cool. So we had some good reads there. And typically, by the way, let's say that this is I'm going to scroll up here. That's bothering me. If this is an agency session, normally the agent would book the studio for an hour for the session like this and probably get multiple takes of the reads. And the key is, you want to be polished enough to be able to take direction and do exactly what they're saying, because you don't want to go over the hour. That's when the red flags start to come. Suddenly, 15 takes or so, and you still don't have it, is when you kind of step on the red line a little bit. So, but that's why we do coaching. That's why we do training. And that's why we do demos, right? All right. So VO question time. It's time for our Q&A section of the class. And go ahead and hit me with whatever the hell you feel like hitting me with, if it's about the script delivery in general, or the voiceover business in general. Just go ahead and any questions related. Go for it. Well, Sage has a great one right off the bat. How do we get involved with agencies? Well, you do have to have a polished demo, which is always my job, or any of the other coaches on my roster, as you know. Tawny, Jan, Rob, or Jen. It's our job to get you there. And many of you had signed up with us because of the fact that it takes forever to get to the demo. And I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing. Because we always like to make sure that everybody is damn good and ready before they do a demo. There's good people around the country that do voiceover training, but I also will tell you that there's voiceover training companies where they rush people into the demo process before they're ready. Sometimes within 2 weeks. And that's a huge alarm for me, a huge red flag, because I don't even know any pro that I work with that would be ready in 2 weeks. This is more of a mentorship, and I'm saying this more for some of the newer talents that have signed up for us. You will benefit from the fact that this is a mentorship, and that we will work with you until you're ready come demo time. That's our signature statement, and that's why we've developed an award-winning reputation. All right, I got a little dramatic at the end. But so Sage, with the going back to the agency thing, you would have to submit a professional demo to a talent agency, either by submitting it through their website, by following the protocol there, or sending them an email, or just kind of finding out how they want it submitted, and then they will determine if you're a good fit for the roster. Now, keep in mind, and I'm going to say this because it's a good question from Sage, don't run into the corner and start sobbing if you get rejected from an agency. I still get rejected, and I've been in this industry forever, a couple decades now. You're always going to get an agent that doesn't like you, but you're always going to get an agent that thinks you're the greatest. So, you just got to kind of keep going, Plus, as I said at the beginning of the class, you can still get plenty of work by working as an independent contractor, doing what I do, working directly with producers, audiovisual directors of corporations, explainer video and e-learning companies, audiobook companies. There's there's many ways to go about this without any agent whatsoever. All right, so we've got Paige, who did a nice read. And how about that, Paige? Literally, you signed up for our program yesterday, Paige, and here you are doing a read already in a group class. I appreciate the ambition. I really do. Is it possible to get a copy of this script so we can practice it on our own? Actually, you can grab it right now, Paige. It's sitting there in the GoToWebinar widget. You can actually just download it. You see where there's an attachment under Handout? It should be sitting right there. Let me know. Message me on Facebook if you can't get it, and I'll just attach it there. Jeff Devitt. Sorry, my dog. This happens every class. There's probably a bunny or a cat out in front. All right, so Jeff says, I suck at self-promotion. That's okay. How can I really push forward at getting an agent? Jeff, when we have your demos completed, I can help you with that because I have some good contacts. What about Gross Point Blank? Peter Pont says, yes, that's always on every week. Going back to my movie reference a little bit earlier. That was a fun script. Good. Everybody enjoyed that script. Would one have multiple demos? Tom Welsh, who is brand new to the program, signing up exactly this morning. Multiple demos is a huge bonus, yes. Back in the day when I first got started, everybody had one demo, and mine was on a cassette. You would put the commercials on one side of the cassette and narrations on the other side. That is no longer the case, obviously. So it's good to have like a commercial narration, maybe an audiobook demo, or like even a telephony demo. On-hold messaging for companies is still very, very huge. So the more demos you have, the better. The king and queen though are really the commercial and narration one. That's always the first two that somebody should start off with. And if you're only doing one demo, that's okay too, but you should always make sure that it's a commercial demo because that's still going to be the king, so to speak. So good question there from Tom. Kevin, how do we know which of your VO coaches to sign up with? Well, we're all qualified to do the same thing. We probably have about a century's worth of experience between all of us. Tawny really is kind of our marketing guru, so she does a lot of our marketing sessions. But we're all capable, Kevin, of doing just about everything. I generally direct and produce the demos. So if you're looking to expand, which you're already signed up for, Kevin, we can help you with that too, because I think you're only in our group class program. I'm not sure, but we'd love to work with you on a one-on-one basis too. Dan, do you have any marketing suggestions for VO talents that just don't like dealing with people? Honestly, Dan, that would be me. But we kind of have to get over that fear. I don't like cold calling. I don't like calling people, but it's just something that's, you just have to kind of get over it. But that doesn't mean that you won't do well on the agency side, because if you can get on a really good agency roster, pardon me, and they're giving you work every week, then they're doing the work. You just have to show up to the gig and pay attention to somebody. But good questions. All right, I'm just going to kind of scroll down here. Carol has a really good question. When do character voices come into play? Can we suggest them or just wait until they ask? Well, that's a really good question, because if you have a really good relationship with the client already, there's no reason why you can't throw in your own ideas. Because let's say if you've worked with this person maybe for the last few years and you've done quite a few gigs with them already, there's no reason why you can't volunteer some, hey, I think can I just try something for you guys, that's a little more character related? They would love that. They would absolutely love that. That's being a team player, and it's being more than just somebody who's going to read off of a script. Now, if this is a first-time client and a first gig, you want to be really careful with just throwing in stuff. Maybe wait for them to ask, because you're still kind of, you're trying to play the field a little bit. You're trying to play things out, wondering if this is going to be a good relationship or not to begin with. Hopefully it is, and they'll hire you back for lots more work in the future. But yeah, so that's my answer there. Sage, it's also in the email. The script. Yeah, I think it was Paige that asked earlier. Paige, if you got the email, which you probably didn't, because I think you just got the link to the class from Tawny because you just signed up yesterday, so I don't even think I got you on the list yet. But let me know if you have any issues, because it is attached to the GoToWebinar widget. Greg Needham. Very powerful voice in Greg. Do agencies want or need various voices? Yes, they do. Many times they just want your voice. They want that conversational commercial voice. Other times they do want more character related stuff. So if you're able to do other voices, now keep in mind that professional, what's the word I'm saying? Now, impressions are going to be a little bit different than character work. People always say, I can do an impression of this person. Steve does Shaggy masterfully, but how many agencies are going to be looking for a Shaggy impression? Maybe a couple here and there, but it's almost better if you can come up with your own characters. You know what I'm saying? because I get people that, hey, I can do an Elvis impersonation. Well, I mean, more times than not, that's not going to really do a hell of a whole lot for you on an agency roster. It can be something extra. You could definitely let your agent know what voices you can do, no question about it, because if they do get a client that asks, obviously you're going to be the go-to person. But generally, especially the way we do character and animation demos, a lot of it's made up characters. And that's what sells. All right. Just scrolling down, finding I got time for just a couple more questions. So if you have anything in mind, now would be the good time to jot them down. Ken Edwards. I was at a local Chamber of Commerce event earlier this week, made 2 solid contacts, one with a video production and one with the event producer for a major not-for-profit agency. Awesome job, Ken. That's a great way to get contacts. I like being members of meetup groups as well, marketing meetup groups, or even like creative writing, not always people say, oh, I'm going to join as many voiceover meetup groups as I can. Well, basically, you're just meeting other voice talents. That's not really a great way to get work. Do what Ken did. Become a member of your local chamber of commerce, or go to meetups, go to marketing meetups, business owner meetups, not necessarily meetups with other voice actors. And that's fun because you get to kind of hear what's working for them, and it's a good way to kind of meet up and meet your colleagues, and it's fun. But if you want to get work, the networking with those other industries are going to be a little more effective for you. All right, I think we're pretty much ready to rock. Oh wait, I'm going to do one more from Donna. Donna's got a good question here. If you sent your demo to a producer who had asked for them, but you did not hear back, followed through one time with a phone call, what next? Let it go, or when is enough time to reach out again? Yeah, you're always going to get some people that are going to contact you back, and some people are not going to contact you back ever. But keep their name in like a Google spreadsheet or something, and then maybe just keep following up with them, maybe like once or maybe once or twice a month. Definitely don't contact them every week. And that goes for agencies too. If they love you and your demo, believe me, they're going to do everything they can to get you on the roster as soon as possible. So don't bug people too much, especially in agency, like once a week. You definitely don't want to harm that potential relationship. Good stuff. All right, so I think that's going to do it for today. The class is recorded. I will send out the recording of it on Monday. Again, the student-only YouTube channel, I'm going to go ahead and type it in the chat box. It's vogroupclasses.com. VO Group Classes. And those of you that always watch the recorded classes, I know you get sick of hearing this stuff at the end, but we always have new people kind of in and out. So we're also on Facebook. Actually, we got a Facebook group called Voiceover Camp. It has many of, you in it, and many of our mentorees are in there, but there's also pro friends of mine that are in there that offer up a little advice here and there. And then there's some people that just kind of sit and lurk, which is fine, sit on the fence because they're just gathering information. It's really a mixed bag of just lots of different personalities. So you can go to, I'm not going to type this one out, but just go to facebook.com/groups/voiceovercamp and join us there. And it's a good way to catch up on our announcements when there's a class too, because I know that there's issues with emails from time to time or people not getting the emails. I will say, for those of you that have Gmail email addresses, make sure you always check the promotional folder of your Gmail, because when I send out the emails, anything with links in it tends to go to the promotional folder of Gmail. There's a way that you can adjust that so it goes into your regular inbox. In fact, does any of you Gmailers know how to do that, to make the adjustments so that future class emails go into your regular main primary inbox? Does anybody know how to do that? I would love some insight on that. You can just type it in the question box and I can just tell people. I think people have a pretty good idea, but just always remember to check the promotional folder because it tends to go in there as well. It's Jeff says I got rid of that. It's in the settings, so you can set to get all of my emails in your main inbox. Just go to Gmail and find that out, I guess. All right, so that's going to do it for today. Have a great weekend, everybody. I really appreciate you taking time out of this Saturday morning to join us for the script class. And by the way, for those of you that are group class mentorees only, if you're interested in taking the next step and working with us on a one-on-one basis and also getting a solid demo produced, you can certainly hit me up via the Facebook Messenger, and I'll be happy to share some information on that. Many of you have our website already. So thank you so much. Great job on the reads, too. I really had fun with this, and appreciate everybody who volunteered. My apologies if I didn't get to you. It's nothing personal, but keep in mind, we do tons of script classes every year, and we eventually do get to everybody. So take care. Have a good weekend, everybody.